Howdy, my peeps. Today I'm going to be talking about perfectionism. And yeah, I don't have any notes or anything. I'm just going to kind of ramble about that for a little bit. But before we get into that, I would like to give a shout out to this person right here for commenting this comment. I really like reading your comments, and they make me happy, and I just thoroughly enjoy them. Also, I have a Patreon, so if you would like early access to video like a week ahead of, like a week before everyone else, and stuff like a monthly wallpaper that you get to vote on, and community posts, polls, and stuff like that, you can head over to my Patreon. There's a link in the description. But anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and get into the topic. So, personally, I do kind of feel like my work has to look a certain kind of way, especially if I'm posting it on Instagram specifically, because Instagram is kind of, I treat Instagram like it's my portfolio, so I like for it to be my best work, or just the work that I would, like if someone were to ask me to do a commission or something, like I would want to be able to direct them to my Instagram, and I want it to be like an example of my best work basically and what I can do. So if you notice, like if you follow me on Instagram as well as watch my YouTube videos, as you're doing now, you'll notice that I don't, like a lot of the drawings that I do on YouTube, I don't share on Instagram. And the main reason for that is, like I said, I want Instagram to be my best work. And YouTube for me is more of a place where I can kind of relax a little bit with my art. And I don't, like I would prefer for things to turn out a certain way, but if they don't, I'm okay with it, because I feel like my channel is more about the process of creating art rather than the artwork itself. Like the artwork doesn't have to look fancy and nice all the time. So some of the drawings on my channel are kind of wonky, and like the eyes don't line up properly, or I just didn't like how I colored something or whatever. But it's not what, like some of the drawings aren't what I would consider to be my quote-unquote best work. And I don't post a lot of that stuff on Instagram, and I mean, I'm okay with that personally, how I do that. And as far as like trying to be perfect all the time with art, I don't try to do that too much. And the only time I do that really is if I'm working on a commission. Like I would prefer to get things right, because someone's paying me to do it, and I want to give them what they paid for, and I want to give them a nice product. But when it comes to things like specifically my sketchbook, like I don't care as much, and I'm more open to like try different things and draw derpy things and just make mistakes basically. And I actually really like sketching, which if you have been subscribed for a while, you know this, because I'm always talking about sketchbooks and stuff, because sketchbooks are amazing. And I think that a lot of my best drawings are my sketches, because those are drawings that I made when I didn't put any pressure on myself to create something that is perfect, because let's be honest, that doesn't exist. There's always going to be mistakes in your work, because I mean, that's just the nature of it. Like you can't, well, I mean, you probably could draw a perfect line, but like the chances of that happening are kind of slim. Or a perfect circle, like that's just a thing. Like you can't draw a perfect circle without any tools or anything. Like it's just, like if you can, like I applaud you, because that's amazing, because I cannot do that. When it comes to what other people think about my art, I don't really think about it too much unless it's like a commission. But even with that, like with my first commission, I was like really uncomfortable and insecure about my art, and I don't know, I guess I just didn't feel like my style at the time was good enough. But like if someone comes to you and requests a commission, I had to tell myself that that's because whoever that person is liked your style. And like if someone's willing to, like if they see your work and they're willing to pay for it, and they say, I would like for you to draw me something, I mean, they came to you, so obviously they like your style. So like even with commissions, like I've kind of, like I'm still trying my best to do my best work when I'm doing commissions, but I don't stress too much about it. I don't try to change my style or anything when I'm doing commissions, because I mean, if you see my work and then you decide you want a commission from me, that means you obviously like it. So that aspect I try not to stress too much about, and I try not to stress about like what I post on Instagram, even though, like I said, it is supposed to be like, well, I treat it kind of like in a portfolio. And with YouTube, of course, like I said, I more relaxed sketchbook, more relaxed. The one thing that really does kind of trip me up is sharing my OCs, because that's, I don't know, that just feels kind of different to me, because it's not just a drawing, like it's more than a drawing, because it's also like I still have to share a part of the character's story, and I don't know, that just makes me really uncomfortable and kind of nervous. So that's like something I'm not super comfortable with sharing, which is why the comic I was working on about my OC came here was a really big deal for me, because that was pretty much the first time I ever shared one of my OC stories. I have my OC Lens. I don't think I've ever shared too much about his story with a lot of people. Like I think I only shared his story, like excerpts from what I've written with like maybe 3 people. So I'm like super uncomfortable about sharing that, and super shy about that, because it's like allowing someone to look inside of my mind, and that's kind of weird and kind of makes me uncomfortable. So I am trying to work on that, especially since like with writing in particular, like I don't write all the time, so it's something that I feel like I have to like work more on, and I have to get it right. But of course, even with that, I have to just kind of chill a little bit and realize that like there's no perfect story out there. Like it may be like a really good story, but it's not like perfect, you know? And it's always like interesting, like if you're reading a book and you like come across like a typo or something, because it's like, wow, even this person that I look up to and has written this amazing book makes mistakes, because people make mistakes, period, you know? Also, one thing that I'd like to do with my digital stuff recently, to kind of make it easier to get better lines, because line art is, well, digital line art is something that I'm kind of, is a little bit more difficult for me. I use a soft brush now, because the hard brush, even though like really clean, crisp line work looks really cool, I find that I tend to make a lot more mistakes and worry a lot more about how my lines look if I use a brush that's like really crispy, you know? So these days I use a soft brush, and here are my specs for that brush. It's on SAI paint, so that's what I used for my line art. I just feel like it allows me to make more mistakes without freaking out too much. Anyway, that's kind of all of my random thoughts about perfect art and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. And I probably should have asked this at the beginning, but what are your thoughts on that topic? How do you feel about quote-unquote perfect art? And is sharing perfect art something that you want to do or struggle to do? I would like to know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to support me and my artwork, you can head over to my Patreon, which I mentioned earlier, so you can get stuff like early access to the video, before everyone else, and an exclusive drawing that you can use for a wallpaper for your phone. Also a speed painting of that drawing, and what else? Shout outs at the end of the video. Speaking of shout outs, shout out to my patron, Turtle Bun Buns. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please enjoy the rest of your day.